You knew the sound of a key in the lock before anyone else in the house did. You knew which slammed door meant it would blow over, and which one meant the next few hours needed to be handled carefully. You knew somehow, before you were old enough to know anything, exactly how to keep a room calm. Nobody trained you for that. Nobody sat you down and explained the job. You just noticed one day that if you didn't manage it, nobody would. There's a name for what happened to you. A psychologist named Gregory Jurkovic studied children like you for years, and he called it parentification. It means the roles quietly reversed. Somewhere in a childhood that looked, from the outside, completely normal, you stopped being the kid in your own home. And by the end of this, you might finally understand why some part of you never fully stopped. Yurkovic split it into two kinds, and most people only recognize one of them. The first is easy to spot. Instrumental parentification. You cooked, you cleaned, you managed your siblings, packed the lunches, learned which bills were due before you learned long division. You became competent early because someone had to be. The second kind is quieter, and it's the one that actually shapes people the most. Emotional parentification. You became the parent's confidant, their therapist, their emotional regulator. You learned to read their mood the way other kids learned to read weather because your safety depended on getting the forecast right. You comforted them when they cried. You stayed calm when they weren't. You became the steady one in a house that needed steadying, and you were 7, or 10, or 13. Nobody called it a job. It didn't come with a name. It just felt like something you had to do quietly because the alternative was watching things fall apart. And children who grow up this way get very good at one specific thing: anticipating what other people need before those people even know they need it. Here's what nobody tells you about growing up this way. It doesn't end when you move out. Clinical psychologist Lindsay Gibson has spent years working with adults who grew up exactly like this, and her clinical work points to something that explains a feeling you've probably never been able to put into words. The nervous system that learned to caretake never got taught how to be cared for. Think about how you actually behave now. You're the friend everyone calls at 2 in the morning. You're the one who remembers everyone's birthday, everyone's bad week, everyone's unspoken mood shift. You are extremely good at showing up for other people. And you are, if you're honest, strange around someone showing up for you. It doesn't feel relaxing. It feels unfamiliar, slightly unearned. Some quiet part of you keeps waiting for the moment you have to go back to managing things, because managing things is the only role you've ever fully trusted yourself in. You never stopped being the parent. You just grew a body old enough to make it look like a choice. There's something almost impressive about what you built. A child figured out how to keep a household steady using nothing but attention and instinct. That's not nothing. But the same skill that kept everyone else afloat also taught you very early that your own needs were something to manage quietly and alone, the same way you managed everyone else's. Maybe the question isn't why you're so good at taking care of people. Maybe it's when you last let someone take care of you, and whether you actually let it land, or whether some old, useful, exhausted part of you was already bracing to take the job back. You were the parent, long before you should have had to be. Human, after all,